Warning: all views expressed in this video are from the creator and do not represent the opinions of any other company or individual. Content shown within is intended for entertainment purposes only, and no infringement is intended. Enjoy!
Hey there, this is Perch. I'm actually just probably going to get lazier and lazier with the intros until I'm just like, this is Perch, and then just you got mumbling for like 10 minutes. That's probably where this is all going. Just spoiler, that's where we'll wind up. No, but seriously, so wanted to talk briefly about overships, and this is one of those topics that I'm always amazed continues to live on because it's actually a very boring topic, and it's one that there's not a lot of drama, there's not a lot of details to really talk about. It's a very simple, very old thing, and it's the concept has been in all kinds of commercial industry for a very long time, but for whatever reason in comics there's some drama to it. So let's try and unpeel a little bit of that drama here today and explain what's going on. So first of all, what is an overship? So an overship is kind of an abbreviated term. It simply means additional shipment or overshipment. And the way that relates to comics is that, say you order 10 copies of Avengers, and Marvel says to themselves, let's ship the 10 copies. Let's get Diamond to release 10 copies to that retailer, but we're going to go ahead and add 5 more at no additional cost. So the retailer will get 15 even though they ordered and paid for 10. Now you may ask yourself, why would a retailer do this? Is it just free comics? Are they just being nice? Is it Happy Retailer Day? No, it's actually a marketing program. And that's kind of the operative word here. And that's the thing you should remember where overships are concerned. Overships are marketing. It's the publisher basically saying, we think that the retailer will want more of this particular title. We think that they've underordered. They don't do it retailer by retailer, by the way. They do it just, industry wide. Some retailers that have certain volume get more than others. So it isn't universal, but it's not like they sit in some chair and go, the guy in Denver is going to get, 20% overship, and the guy in San Diego is going to get 40. And I like the guy in Kansas. He's great and gives me good steak when I go there. So we'll give him a little bit more. And, this retailer, this woman in San Francisco, she's going to get a couple more. They don't do it like that. It's marketing. It's a program. Usually there's percentages assigned to it. And it's really, the whole purpose is to get additional books in the hands of retailers that might have underordered. So now we need to go back in time a little bit, because the reasoning or the packaging around overships used to be that the publisher was doing some kind of event, or there was an introduction of a new character, or maybe somebody was going to die, or maybe it was teeing up, and this is the most critical one, maybe it was teeing up a future storyline. So for example, a way that this might work in modern terms is, Marvel knows that Secret Empire is coming, and they're going to do a big reveal where Captain America is Hydra. And so, a lot of retailers, they ordered, say, 50 copies each of Captain America #1. And Marvel knows that the final page of that issue is going to have Captain America saying, "Hail Hydra." And that's going to be a big, shocking reveal. And it's going to set up their, the event that's coming in a year. And so they want more of that comic in the hands of retailers, because they know readers are going to go chase it. It'll become a collector's item, and it will help lead to other sales. As that last part of the sentence to really pay attention to, it will help lead to other sales. That's the reason why Marvel or DC or anyone will do overships, is they're trying to get more sales out of a book. So in the olden days, overships were really, tied to something special is going on this issue, and we know the retailers will want more of it, and we think if there's more copies available and retailers push it a little bit, then that will lead to the next, issue #2 sales, issue #3 sales, and all the rest. It's just juicing the process to get more comics out into the field. More recently, comic companies have done this to get titles that are kind of what I would call B titles or C titles. So titles where, there's not a big background. The retailers or the readers don't really know what's going on in this book. And they want to, just basically tell the retailers, you didn't order enough. This character will be important. So we're going to give you a little bit more. And we think that will incentivize you to kind of push it a little bit. And then we'll sell more of number 2 and number 3. Now, there is a hitch in that plan, and that overships you don't always know. In fact, you don't usually know that overships are coming. So chances are, as a retailer, you've already ordered issue 2 and issue 3, for example, by the time you realize you're getting an overshipment on issue 1. So there's kind of there's some complexity around that. There is a chance for retailers to come in and do a additional order before cutoff, and so there is a chance that the retailers can up their orders based off of something even in a fairly short time frame. But really, the concept is marketing. So how this got all bent around on the internet, I'm not completely sure. Other than overshipments have been going on for a long time. And when retailers were really ticked about it, and when there was a lot of noise that was coming up, at least the retailer level, was back, and this is going to require my memory, I think around 2017, and early 2017, maybe late 2016, and Marvel did a lot of overships all at once. And it wasn't just one title, it was several titles. And the impact to the retailers is they suddenly had to pay more money. And now, right now, you may be going, hey, wait a minute. You said at the beginning it's free for retailers. And that's right, I did. And it is, except there's one part of it that's not free, and that's the shipping. So you're paying shipping costs for anything that is sent to you. And maybe that what is sent to you are some promo cards, maybe they're comics, maybe it's, this hasn't happened, but if Marvel suddenly changed the weight on all their paper and suddenly the comics were heavier, then you would be paying more in shipping. And that's just, you're paying for shipping. It's kind of that simple. So back in kind of, again, this time frame, I want to say late 2016, early 2017, but it's happened in different pockets in the past. Overshipments typically, and there's big kind of air quotes here, typically you don't notice the additional shipping. And I say that because if you have a title, one title has an overshipment, and you ordered 20 copies of it and you got an extra 5, you're paying for shipping, more than you were expecting for 5 copies of books. And that's not a lot of money. That's, you're not going to notice that additional weight. But when the publisher decides to overship a lot of comics all at once, then you will notice. Then suddenly you've got a lot more books coming into your shop. The way this, typically is kind of biggest impact is there's kind of one more box than you were expecting. And now, there's a difference. But still, we're not talking about, $1,000 more. I mean, if you're Mile High or you're a giant retailer, then sure. But 95% of all shops, they're not really noticing this extra shipment. But still, an extra $5, an extra $50. If you are suddenly paying $100 more for shipping than you were expecting in a week, then that is $100 you have to make up somewhere, and that is a pain. There will be grumbling, and there was grumbling about that. So retailers complained, and there was a bunch of angry comments that went out to David Gabriel and various other people, particularly at Marvel. Marvel does do a lot more overshipments than DC, and so that noise went on. But then it kind of died down. Marvel didn't do as many overshipments for the remainder of 2017. It would just kind of spontaneously happen here and there. And again, one other thing to kind of keep in mind is overshipments are not happening for super popular books. I mean, it would be a happy day if I ordered 100 copies of Batman and DC was like, let's overship Batman. Not a lot of people have heard of this Batman guy, so let's go ahead and give them an extra 50 for free. I mean, nobody's going to turn that down. But those aren't the books that get overshipped. The books that get overshipped are the ones that are newer or more unknown, where that marketing matters. So titles like Mosaic, number 1, that was an overship. Or I think one of the Hellcat issues had an overshipment. Iceman had an overship, and that's where in my mind at least, the overshipping drama on the internet really kind of took place. So you had Iceman number one, sorry, Iceman volume two, well, technically not volume two because Iceman's had other volumes in the past, but basically Sin of Grace, the second go around for Iceman number one, Marvel does an overshipment of that title. And, a lot of people start posting photos of dozens of copies of Iceman on the shelves and whatnot. And then it's like, why is Marvel forcing this Iceman comic on retailers? And so that's how the drama kind of got going. And, I look at this from a standpoint, and I've commented a lot on this topic, just in tweets and in threads, but it keeps coming back. It's like it's a zombie. It just the topic will not die. It rises up and attacks us again. Um, I get that, if you're a comic shop, well, first of all, if you're a comic shop, you're not ordering 500 copies of Iceman. So if Marvel's doubling your order of Iceman and you're going to really feel that those shipping costs, well, I mean, retailers are ordering 10 copies of Iceman and they're getting an extra 5 or maybe an extra 10. That's the volume we're talking about here. It's not like, you open up your box and it's like, holy cats, what I've got 1,000 copies of Iceman here, and I ordered 2. That's not what's going on. So the retailers were not ticked at Iceman. Now they probably roll their eyes a bit because the title hasn't been a big seller. And for most retailers, they look at this and they go, I'd love some more marketing support from Marvel. I'd love some, crossover cards. I'd love some posters for the window. There's a million things I'd love to have if I am Marvel to promote my books. And so, if you're going to spend money to promote something, extra copies of Iceman number one is not really what I had in mind as something that's going to move the needle for me. Even that hashtag also has baggage, so I should come up with different terms. But it's most people just kind of rolled their eyes and moved on. Retailers who get extra copies of things they can't sell typically take those copies and they either give them out for free to pull box customers as a way to kind of say thanks, or they take those copies and they go down to the used bookstore and they give them away or they donate them or whatever. I mean, that's typically what's going on with these extra books. It's not like the retailer is like, oh my God, I got now an extra 5 copies of Iceman. There's no hope of ever selling it, but I'm going to put it on the shelf and it will sit there and then I'll walk by and I'll shake my fist at it like, damn it, Iceman, again. That's not what's going to occur. So, so this thing got all kind of blown out of proportion a little bit of Marvel forcing people to have Iceman, and generally it's a non-event. From my perspective, again, I'd rather have a poster. So if you're going to give me something for free, how about some posters or some cards or something that's going to actually, have more meaning for the shop. But hey, extra copies of Iceman. Why does Marvel or DC or anyone choose Overships as a good marketing approach as opposed to creating something new, some piece of collateral that I can use to promote books? Well, I mean, the answer is in the sentence. A poster or collateral is something new. That's going to mean somebody is going to have to come up, whip out old Photoshop and come up with a page and lay it on out in whatever program and, send it off to the printers and then do a run and you pay for that expensive, pricey ink and then roll it up, put it in a box and ship it out to me. That's new work as opposed to the publisher going, hey, let's give an extra 50% of this thing we're already printing. Let's just extend our print run a little bit. And, Diamond can more or less take care of that. It's something that's within their mechanism. They know what's going on there and off it goes. And, it's change that 10 to a 20. That's the amount of work that goes in. And just to be clear, that's not me calling the publishers lazy. It's just, you've got these limited marketing dollars to spend, and it's a pretty easy choice to go up the print run on this title and ship some additional copies out to the retailers, and they're going to be happy because they're getting free comics, and everybody's a winner. And that's the mentality, that's the thinking, and that's probably why the publishers get a little ticked off when they see Twitter threads of people going, what the heck? We're giving them something for free. Who's complaining about this? That was kind of the reaction when they did all the overshipping, a couple of years ago. So in a nutshell, that's what's going on. I don't know if there's too much more to say there. You can certainly go, why in the world would somebody take a title that's lower selling and give people more of it? I mean, sure, it makes sense to me. But again, it's a free thing. Even if you wind up taking those thick stacks of Iceman that you ordered, and by the way, if you're a retailer who went through series one of Cinegrace Iceman and it sold what it sold, regardless of how you feel about the creator or the title or the quality or whatever, it didn't sell, huge numbers. It sold, and there was some trade life to it in libraries and other things, and it had some extended life. But from a comic shop perspective, that title was not busting out, 80,000 copies a month, and that's a factual statement. It's neither positive or negative. It is what it is. The numbers are published. We know. So if you're a comic shop and it's let's go around and do this one more time, Iceman Volume 2, number 1. If your comic shop ordered like 100 copies of that, then your comic shop's done. I'm sorry, and it's it's not knocking the title, it's not knocking Marvel or Diamond or the creator or anything else. I mean, if something sold 5 copies for you, and that was kind of when it all broke down, my Iceman was about 5 to 10 copies on a smaller to medium shop. That's what it moved. Then if you then turn around as a small to medium shop and suddenly say, well, I'm going in big on volume 2, number 1. I mean, whose fault is that? Is that Marvel's fault? It is not. That's the fault of the store owner who's saying, go for 100. Sorry, it's not going to sell 100. Don't order 100. That's just you being crazy as a business owner. But so it's just, overships are one of those things where it's marketing. It is what it is, and I don't know what else there is to say about it. But if you have questions, by all means, throw it in the comments below. I'll come in. One question that's come up is, hey, as a retailer, can I do you get any advance notice? Like Marvel's going to tell you, hey, we're going to overship this. Well, no, that would kind of defeat some of the purpose, because if Marvel told me, hey, I'm going to give you 10 copies of Iceman for free, well, I move about 10 copies of Iceman, so I'm not going to order any Iceman then. I'm going to order 0 and get my 10 free copies and then pocket that sweet, what would that even be? Like to $30 of profit. Woohoo! So no, they don't tell you in advance, and that would defeat the whole purpose of the program. And if you order 0, your overshipment is 0. They're not going to give you copies for nothing. So there you go. I spent 17 minutes on a topic that there you go. What can you do? Thanks for listening. Look, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Hit the bell for notifications if you want those. Please subscribe. Tell your friends, your neighbors, cats, animals living together, whatever. And follow me on Twitter if you got questions or things you want me to say, talk about, do, answer. Happy to do it. So thanks for listening, and cheers.